Okay, new construction and development. Okay, this, by the way, guys, oh my God. Oh my God. Does anybody have a family member who's in the housing industry right now, in the building industry? Okay, so let me tell you what happens with home builders. Well, let me preface this. In 2003, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I was business partners with the largest home builder in Colorado. So they own the home builder. I own the real estate brokerage with another partner. So, and during that time, what happened was the builders started letting go of their sales staff, right? Because the recession's hitting, they started letting go of their sales staff. So what did they end up doing? They turned their sales over to an agent. They actually have an agent list the house. So my wife, this is a funny story. My wife was an on-site salesperson. I was single at this time, just for the record. So was she. She was divorced for 6 years. I was like separated for 3 and divorced for maybe 11 months or something. So she got laid off from a builder in Lowry. Okay, they let her go and they couldn't afford her anymore. And so she comes in to talk to me about a transaction coordination position in my Keller Williams office. And I'm interviewing her and I'm like, so they laid you off? And she goes, yeah. And I go, well, what are they going to do with those listings? And she says, I don't know. They'll probably list it with this other agent, Derek Kamenetz, which Derek's a good friend of mine. I've known Derek for years. And I'm like, oh, really? Derek's awesome, right? Like, I hate that guy. No. And I said, well, you think they'd interview with you? I said, you think you get a meeting with them? She goes, yeah, I get a meeting with them. And I said, okay, here's what we're going to do. Sign your paperwork to join my office, because I was a team leader, right? So sign the paperwork, join the office, and call them right now and get a meeting for us next week. So she had been licensed for a long time, but she never did retail sales. She was always an on-site. She started her real estate career with 26 listings.
Nice. That's why you married her.
That's why I married her. Yeah, that and we had tons of life in common, right? Like we're both single, struggling, like trying to stay afloat with 3 kids each. We're like, I'm dying. Yeah, that's why we got married. But here's what I want to tell you. She had 0 real estate experience, guys. And she started with 26 listings from a phone call, right? We sat down, we did the meeting. I said, here's how we're going to market your properties. Here's the commission. Here's how we're going to do it. And they said, sounds good. Boom, 26 listings. So a lot of builders will turn their listings over to agents, okay? Builders also have needs, right? Small builders can't afford a full-time staff. The important thing to note, too, is if you see a builder that puts their inventory up and they list it with an agent, that listing agreement is property specific. Okay? Listing agreements in Colorado are property specific. So you can go in and solicit their next listing. Do you get this? So you see a home builder who has their house listed with an agent. You call them up. You say, hey, I'd love to get a meeting with you. I'd love to see your projects, learn about your inventory homes, whatever. You do a listing presentation for their next properties that are coming up. I would like to interview for the opportunity to help you list and sell your other listings that you have coming. Now, don't disparage the agent that has the current listings. That doesn't work. But what I say is there's things that I would do different. Your agent's great. They're doing a fine job. They're doing okay. There's things I would do different. Right? What are those things? You know, some of it's secret sauce. And I can't share it all because my biggest risk is you would actually share it with the other agent. And I can't have you sharing these things. And honestly, they can't do it all anyways. But there's some things that I would do differently, just with the overall marketing and stuff. You know what the number one thing is? Signage. Builders' signage is horrible because builders' signage is regulated by the cities, right? They want to go put a sign on a corner. They have to get a permit to put the sign on the corner. They got to get permission from the property owner. They got to do all this stuff. What do we do to put signs up? I don't do that. I just put signs up, right? Open house. Oh, open house every day. Every day I've got freaking arrows going to these communities. I just, I got a builder in Parker who Parker would not give them a sign. They wouldn't permit them a sign. So there's this new construction neighborhood with no sign. And I was like, well, how do people know you're here? And she's like, exactly. And I said, well, I'll tell you what, if you'll refer your buyers, your buyers that need to buy, that have a house to sell to me, I will do all your signage for you. And then what I did is I just hired one of those sign companies to put up with my signs, open house every day, and then take them down, and then put them up and take them down. And Parker couldn't do anything because I was following the rules, and I directed traffic to the new home builder. And that got me a meeting with the VP of sales, who then got me in with the entire builder. So I did all their list assist for them for years. Right? So builders have needs. You've got to find and identify their needs. So they have inventory homes. They have model homes. Guess what builders are going to start doing? They're going to sell their model homes to investors with a guaranteed rent for a period of time. Okay? A lot of them already have, but some of them were sitting on them because they were appreciating. They were actually making 300, 400 grand on their dang model home, right? They have under contracts that are falling through. So here's a great conversation with new home. Do you have contingencies? Do you have buyers that are contingent on buying? Yeah. Okay, so do you have any of those listings that might be coming back up on the market? Yeah. What I'd like to do is market those houses for you, just in case that deal falls through. We have another buyer. Here's my listing agreement. Okay, so I'm listing a house that's under contract in case their buyer falls through. Or what's going on with your buyers? Oh, they've been on the market for 90 days. They haven't sold. They're not happy with their agent. Can I meet with them? Can you set up a meeting for me? Now, I'm not going to list over the top. Okay, so we're not going to sign a listing over the top, but my listing can start upon the expiration of the other listing. So I can solicit a listing that starts after the expiration of the other listing. Now I have a listing. And now the builder says, we'll extend with you only if you list with Sean. If you're going to stay with your agent, we're terminating your contract. That's kind of mean, huh? It's called survival. The builders are just trying to survive. The third thing is future developments. So builders, they bought a lot of land. They were guns ablaze, and they got all this other land coming up. And they got this future development that now they don't know what to do with. They don't know how to price. So you can be a consultant for them on their future developments and arrange different types of agreements with that. Like, hey, I don't think you should put sales staff in here, right? I think what you should do is you need to price these properties under 500, 3-bedroom, 2-bath under 500,000. We're not going to do a sales staff. I'm going to list them all and I'm going to sell them. And you're only going to have to pay me if and when I get them sold. That you're not having to pay for staff. You're not going to have to pay for marketing or any of those things. I'm going to take over your marketing on that future development for you. It's going to save you, and then do the math, right? Okay, it costs you $400,000 or $200,000 in staff and marketing to do this, and you're taking all the risk. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take all that off your plate, and I'm going to take that risk on. Okay, so builders will do that right now.